Hello everybody and welcome along to this video, which is Mr. Johnson Teaches Eva Smith Revision, part of the Inspector Calls revision series that I've put together on this channel. You'll find other videos if you go through and have a little browse on each of the main characters and some of the key ideas as well. All of this linking with your GCSE English Literature. It's part of Paper 2, Section A, making it the second lit paper that you sit, and it's at the beginning of that paper, which is then followed by poetry and then unseen poetry. Be ready, as always with my videos, to pause when you need to, but also super important is having pen and paper with you right now. Listening to a video and watching it is going to get you some of the way there. Having your own notes that you can look back at is going to be even more important and is likely to make you a bigger success when it comes to the exams. So let's go on to this video then, which is about a character who is really important but also isn't on stage, and that's the first point I wanted to make to you. It's really important to remember that although I'm referring to her as a character throughout this video, she doesn't actually appear on stage, yet importantly she has a massive impact even though she's not there. So don't be fooled by maybe other adaptations that you might have watched in class maybe, where sometimes they actually portray her as a walking, talking character. Within the script, the original script that you study and have examined on, she isn't there. But who is she then? So she's a girl, that's how she's described interestingly, and what that word maybe suggests. A girl of about 24-ish, that's what the inspector says, who has committed suicide by drinking strong disinfectant. And he then says burned her inside out, of course. She appears to be a parallel to Sheila. Now that's really key in all but their background. Both of them are seen to be pretty, attractive, lively, sort of full of spirit. But the difference is that one was born into a rich family, one was not. And that almost has a bit of a parallel going on there and maybe makes Sheila realise that she's more privileged, but also lucky in that sense. Eva Smith changes her name to Daisy Renton after being fired from Millwoods. So she's fired from Mr. Burling's factory. Later on she's fired from Millwoods, and that's when the inspector informs us that she changed her name to Daisy Renton. And finally, it's important to maybe make the point that she stands up for other people, like in Mr. Burling's business, where she was part of leading a strike to try and raise the wages for not just herself, but for a group of them. So that's just important as well, a very selfless character. So what does she do and does she change? Well, quite literally, within the time of the play and the script, she doesn't do anything because she's not there. However, we hear about her actions, and here are the key things that link to her in the play. Firstly, she's never on stage, as I've said, but she's spoken about as the inspector who goes through interrogating the family. So firstly, she was fired from Mr. Burling's company after leading a strike for increased pay. Later on, she's fired from Millwoods. Sheila is jealous, thinks she sees her smiling at her, so she's jealous of her and gets her fired from there. Later on, she then goes, looks like she becomes a prostitute. He never says that in as many words, but she is then picked up by Gerald in the Palace Bar, which seems to be like a dance venue. He almost rescues her from this older, sort of really fat, unattractive man. He gives her a place to stay, and then eventually she becomes his mistress, and he's sleeping with her for what seems to be about 6 months. Eric also slept with her on multiple occasions. We don't know if that was at the same time or after. It doesn't matter too much, but he is another character who uses her for sex. Only Eric is the one who got her pregnant. And then we find out Mrs. Burling refused to help her, so the pregnant Eva Smith goes to the charity. She calls herself Mrs. Burling because of Eric's surname, so she just chooses Burling. Mrs. Burling thinks this is an act of gross impertinence and completely rude, and then refuses to give her charity, and saying that she should go and see the father, not realising that the father is her own child. Some key quotes then. So once again, Eva Smith doesn't say anything, but there are some really useful quotes said about her. So, for example, the top one from Mr. Burling, she had a lot to say, far too much, and she had to go. Almost suggesting that how dare she have an opinion, how dare she sort of contradict and go against what my wishes are. That's sort of quite an important one. Mr. Burling again is the second quote, says, have you got any idea what happened to her after that? So after he fired her, get into trouble, go on the streets. That's a euphemism, go on the streets, implying that she becomes a prostitute, and that's what he's asking. But notice it's just very negative, and how he views, almost because of her class, just instantly presumes that she's going to have gone down to this very low level. The inspector there using some emotive language to try and manipulate the audience and the Burlings when he says about Eva Smith, she wasn't pretty when I saw her today, but she had been pretty, very pretty. The repetition of pretty there, almost trying to make us feel more sympathy for somebody like her. He's talking about she wasn't pretty because she's been burnt by the disinfectant and is now dead on a slab in a morgue. The next quote down, the bigger one, this is a big quote from the inspector. With quotes, you don't need to remember every single word. You could remember just a pair of words, but I've put all of that quote there just to try and give some context for you. There are lots of young women living this sort of existence in every city and big town in the country, Miss Burling. If there weren't, the factories and warehouses wouldn't know where to look for cheap labour. Ask your father, which is a very sort of pointed and very cutting thing to say. That is almost like it's implying that it's Mr. Burling's fault that people like Eva Smith end up in these positions because they're treated like cheap labour. And the next quote down, very similar with this emotive feeling to it. If sometimes we try to put ourselves in the place of these young women counting pennies in their dingy little back bedrooms, dingy like dark and horrible and unpleasant. That's what the inspector says. And then finally a very judgmental quote from Mrs. Burling. Girls of that class. Looking down her nose at her would be the expression there, like looking down on her and judging her. So what does Eva Smith actually represent then? Well, firstly, her surname Smith is a really common surname. I think it's one of the most common surnames in our country. Therefore, it allows her to represent many, many people. She could be any one of the people in her position because there are so many Smiths, there are so many people like her. It doesn't just apply to people like Smith, but that's why the surname is chosen. But also importantly, she has no words in the play. So therefore, it sort of that symbolises how there was a lack of voice of people in her position. And the thing which I forgot to put on that slide, but absolutely she represents the working class. And I did put it there at the end of the first bullet point, representing working class people. That's a really key thing here. Very much in contrast to the upper class Burlings, who have the money, the power, and therefore the influence and the voice to be able to guide their own living, whereas she doesn't. She's at the hands and at the mercy of people like Mr. Burling, who can employ her and fire her as they see fit. Which themes could you link her with then? Well, many. Responsibility, because she is a victim of the lack of responsibility that the Burling family takes. And again, she has a lack of power because of her social class. Which is this fourth bullet point down there as well. She's working class in comparison to the Burlings being the upper class. She's very selfless, I would put there, and you could contrast that with the Burling family's selfishness and their self-interest. Eva Smith puts other people first, like when she was leading the strike to get more money for all the girls. Socialism, absolutely, because she's a working class. If there was greater community and greater support, then people like her might be better off. And even people like Mrs. Burling almost showed that charity, but then refused it because of her own prejudice and her own anger towards girls of that class. And justice and equality, because she doesn't receive those things. And it's a tragic ending for her because she doesn't receive those things. So possible exam questions. Now, although she's not in the play physically, that doesn't stop her being named. And the one at the top there, SAM2 in brackets, stands for Sample Assessment Materials. So before these exams actually came about, the exam board released some example papers, and one of those example questions was the top one. How does Priestley use Eva Smith to represent poverty in an Inspector Calls? So that's the idea of almost giving poverty a face in the face of Eva Smith, giving it a body, representing it in front of the Burling family, and making them realise that poverty exists, even though they're in their own trapped bubble of rich money. The second question, again, Eva Smith hasn't been named since, but I think all these other actual exam questions could be linked to her. For example, how does Priestley explore the importance of social class, where you could contrast someone like Eva Smith with Sheila, or contrast her with Mr. Burling, and show how it's important that we look after all people and all members of society. The last two there, how does Priestley use the character of the inspector to suggest ways that society could be improved, was a real question. It was a question about the inspector, but I think it would be really important to talk about Eva Smith as part of that question and how the inspector is giving her a voice. So it's a question about the inspector and you would write about him mainly, but you could bring her in. And finally, again, that bottom one, which is a recent exam question, how does Priestley present selfishness and its effects? Well, look at the effects of selfishness. It's caused ultimately a young girl to have no other choice but to take her life, so it seems. So those questions could all be linked in some way to Eva Smith, I would say to you. And it's up to you when you see an exam question. Your paper will give you a choice of two. You only need to answer one. Answer the one you feel most comfortable with and confident with. But it's up to you with some of those questions where they don't name a character to actually you decide, or you can manipulate and twist a question and lead it round so it does talk about the characters. So that's up to you. And finally then, some quick recap questions for you. So have a go at those. All of the answers can be found within this video. Go back and double check if you're not certain, but write down those answers to test yourself. And that's the end of this video. Check out the other videos on my channel to do with inspector calls and indeed other elements of your GCSE English. And above all, make sure you're confident. Revise and target the characters who you feel are the ones you are weakest with. So watch the videos on them, make the notes, and check out the other revision sources that are out there as well. BBC Bite Size being a very good one that's free. Also revision guides if you've got any of those. So thanks very much for watching this video. Check out my other videos, and I wish you the best of luck when it comes to your exams. Goodbye.